Yeah, and I will just continue with the architecture and evolution of the Sverrefjellet to show some results and maybe some things to consider for the future work. So this picture you've already seen. So in the beginning, I want to acknowledge all my colleagues from the field trip and also our nice ship crew, which facilitated our nice working environment. So that was really a nice trip within the short time. And as Sasha said, in very closed environments, but we were very efficient, I have to say. And people were like working with different tasks, but we all helped each other. And I think already got and will get very good results. So yeah, this is just briefly expedition aims and 2 areas of particular interests. So one group led by Kim, Rafael and Peter, they were conducting high resolution drone surveys of the key sites, both for Sverrefjellet formation, which are Miocene volcanics, and also Woodfjorden formation, which are quaternary volcanic features, and also they made drone surveying of the travertines related to quaternary activity in the area. And altogether, we also made extensive collection of samples, both of igneous and sedimentary host rocks for various analyses, geochemical, petrological, and geochronology. And Horst was focusing on gathering samples of water and gas, which he will show in the next talk. And Sasha, as already he showed in the previous talk, carried out a magnetic telluric survey. So in this talk, I will focus mainly on the Sverrefjellet volcano. Sverre and Anniken already discussed, and Sasha discussed some of the features of it. So we don't know the exact age of the volcano because there are several different age estimations based on different methods. So they're both extreme. For instance, based on argon-argon dating, we have age of eruption about 1 million year, which was published by Treyman in 2012. But also dating of the terraces actually suggested very young age of the volcanics, which is like Holocene. So we still don't know, but for sure we know that volcanism occurred during the quaternary hemisphere, northern hemisphere glaciations. So, and of course, this volcano is worldwide known because of mantle-derived xenoliths in the basaltic lavas and volcanogenic sediments of the Sverrefjellet volcano. So, and of course, majority of the papers of these volcanoes, they're mostly about the xenoliths, dozens of them, xenoliths, coming from the classic papers of Amundsen. And then people were kind of, with development of the different techniques, they were improving barometrical estimations of the formation of the xenoliths and their transfer to the surface. So, but compared to that, works on the physical volcanology and magma placement processes, they were quite limited. And at least what I found in the literature, one of the paper by Ture Herzvik from 1963, which is quite short because I think it wasn't the primary focus of their trip, and also a very nice paper of Britt Lise during her master thesis, and almost 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, they focused on the volcanological processes itself, like from micro to mesoscale. So maybe you will correct me and you will provide any other references. So I'm happy to hear that. For instance, Horst is very famous on finding literature sources. So that was our aim actually, to refine our understanding of the magmatic architecture and physical volcanology of Sverrefjellet volcano. And For that, we decided to focus on specific features within the volcano, like cooling and shearing plating zones, shear xenoliths, distribution of xenoliths and lava flows and dikes, to describe main volcanic facies and their distribution along the volcano, and of course, after that, to update magma emplacement models and discuss formation of the particular features of the volcano. For that, I was quite modest in terms of collecting samples compared to xenolith group. So I sampled 15 rock samples of different facies and flow units, which are mantled xenoliths, of course, massive basalt, glacis basalts, fragmented, shaly platy parts of the volcanic flows and dikes, also xenolith boulders, which are quite enigmatic features, and I will discuss it further on, and also basaltic bombs or bomb-shaped xenoliths within the volcanogenic sediments and also dikes. And this was accompanied by acquiring multiple of 3D textures models of different localities, or digital outcrop models. Also, you can discuss it with Raphael, and he will have a poster. So, and we did it for detailed mapping of different structures, and also trying to delineate all these mesoscale structures within the particular localities. So, and also it can be useful to understand distribution, orientation, and fabrics of xenoliths, for instance, within the flows. And together with that, we also accompanied this with kind of classic and traditional lab methods with petrographic descriptions of thin sections and SEM studies. And also, quite recently, I performed artificial intelligence assisted mapping of xenoliths within the outcrops. And at the end, the aim is to integrate all these microscale and mesoscale observations into domes and larger scale digital elevation models to understand the magma emplacement of volcanic architecture of the volcano. So this is complete list of selected samples. As I said, it's 15 samples for the Sverrefjellet volcano mainly, but also more or less the same approach we will do for the Sverrefjellet formation, also discussing meso and microscale features in terms of magma emplacement models and integrating them into a series of digital outcrop models. But this is for the next part of our study. So, as I said, so we got digital elevation model for the whole, or almost for the volcano part. It's mainly eastern part, which is nicely exposed today. So, and the resolution of the model is very high. It's about 6 centimeters per pixel, so we can really map out very small features along the volcano and also do some geomorphological analysis and influence of the neighboring glaciers and so on, and trying to interrelate it with the volcanic observations too. So now I want to focus on only 5 digital outcrop models of different localities, which are showing different volcanic elements, which are lava flows with abundant xenoliths, dikes and alluvial nodules, pillow lavas, and volcanogenic sediments, and they're all shown here by the stars. So I will start with the lava flows with xenoliths. So you already had a look on the samples, and also you have one sample of the xenolith borders just behind the Brit Lisa. You can, it's quite heavy, but yeah, at least you can wake up while passing it to each other. So, and this is a nice example to the right of the xenolithic exposure within the lava flows. So I would just want to show you thin section, how it looks in the thin section. We have the xenolith, we have the basalt host rock. We also have little rims here. They're not to scale in this part, which we have kind of remelting of the xenolithic part here. So I thought that maybe it would be interesting to see the variations of the xenolytic shapes within the outcrop. So to see how this shape distributed within the entire section, from bottom to the top and the middle part. Maybe we can populate these shapes and distributions in somewhat way. So, and for that, I remembered about quite classical petrographic and biological software called ImageJ. I think many petrographists are using it to delineate grains and to discuss and to get their morphometries, A-axis, B-axis, and so on. So, but obviously, this image is more complex than classical thin sections where we have quite standard color differentiation, and we can convert it into grayscale and get some playing with the thresholds for the whole image and get outline of our particular grains. Here it's much more complex because we have lots of weathering and so on. But now with this ImageJ software, we have plugin which allows us to make artificial or machine learning assistant classification of the image. So we can play with that. We can teach the software where the xenoliths. And here we can see that, you know, I played it like within maybe last week. I spent maybe a few hours to do this, and the results are quite good, actually. So, and for this, I use the test area within this outcrop, which I extracted from the digital outcrop model. So why I did so, I decided to make a planar projection, you know, to avoid all these angles in the outcrop, to get the best fit of the to best shape estimations of the xenoliths. So, and then I applied it for the entire outcrop. This is very preliminary results. So, but at least it can give us understanding where we have most of xenoliths compared to the different parts of the flows, and how they compare and how they interrelate to the, for instance, this platy zone, which we have generally at the bottom of the lava flows. And to my surprise, actually, we also estimated the percentage of the xenoliths in the lava flow. In the literature, they say that it's up to 50-60% of the total volume of the flows, but here we estimated as about 20%. Yes, locally we can have 40 and 45% of the xenoliths in the lava flows, but in average it's about 20%. So further on, I would like to work a little bit more on that, maybe to estimate shape variations compared to different parts of the flows, delineate populations, and make some kind of statistical analysis of that, maybe also in placement model, because in earlier publications, for instance, Britt Lisa suggested that there is gravitational precipitation and we have most of the xenoliths at the bottom of the flow. So I also want to test it, if it really works, maybe discuss in terms of also volcanology. That could be interesting to see. So yeah, in addition also to the mantle xenoliths, we also have quite numerous of upper crustal xenoliths, and some of them are really of boulder size. And because we have lots of glacial boulders on the kind of terrace-like surfaces of the Sverrefjellet volcano, in the field we had quite also working hypothesis that maybe some of these upper crustal xenoliths, they're not kind of xenoliths, they were just entrapped from the glacial deposits into the lava flows. That would be also interesting to test out further on. So yeah, and coming back to these very nice features, which really impressed us during the field trip. These are these platy zones. They're generally associated with the basal part of the lava flows. They're quite thick. Their thickness is about like maybe half a meter or more. So, and this is the thin sections which is taken from the plate itself. So, and this is the direction of the plate zone. And also it would be interesting for me also to see, do we have kind of realignments of the grains both within the mantle xenolith and the basalt host rock within these plate zones? Do we have kind of crystal reorientation within this? And actually, it's not that obvious. In xenoliths, for sure, we don't have this major scale realignment of the grains within the xenolithic part. Maybe something we can infer from the basalt itself. We have microcrystals more or less aligned in some direction, but it's quite oblique to the direction of the plate zone. So that's quite nice observations. We can further work out, but also along the rims of the xenoliths we have melting of orthopyroxene that can be related to the disequilibrium when we have these xenoliths traveled up to the surface, and this temperature pressure dependencies, which can also be good indicators of the processes which occurred during magma emplacement. So also one of the interesting features we observed in the thin sections, if you look here, this is kind of basalt injection along the fracture into the xenoliths. So in this case, it could use existing fractures in the xenoliths, or basalt itself could be kind of very runny that could penetrate into the xenoliths. So, and again, it's more closer view on the plate zone itself, and we see that generally we don't have a preferred orientation of the crystals here in the host rock compared to the plate zone. So, and also these plate zones are not only related to the lava flows itself and to the basal part of the lava flows. They are generally, literally everywhere in the Sverrefjellet. We observe them also in dikes, and here in dikes you can also see that they are aligned, they are parallel to the top and bottom parts of the dikes. But the most fascinating features which impressed us very much during the field trip was this olivine nodules or olivine boulders, which we observe in the central part of the volcano within this, let's say, kind of dike swarm here. So Raphael made a very nice 3D model of this particular locality. So here is the dike itself. So the width or the thickness of the dike is about 2.53 meters. And also we see that these plated features, plated zones, they're not really aligned along the top and bottom, but here they form such a peculiar kind of concentric features, which we can now can map out in very high detail. So, and compare also and do the same exercise which I did for the xenolithic parts on the previous outcrop, and compare how these olivine boulders, olivine nodules are interrelated, and their shapes interrelate with the distribution of these plate zones. So this is again the sample from this plate zone, which I sampled somewhere here in this part. So again, this is the orientation of the plate zone, and I took a small plate and made a thin section just across it. And still, we don't see any kind of major deformations in the xenoliths itself, in the grains. But maybe host rock actually contains some kind of crystals oriented along the plate zone. But we have to have it. We have to have a more closer look at this. And also, as we already observed in the previous samples, we also have these rims at the edges of the xenoliths, where we have orthopyroxene melting. And this is olivine nodule itself. So that sample I also cut and had a look. Also, I have like middle parts, depart from the rim. So, and we also don't see kind of very strong reorientation and very strong influence of kind of some metamorphic or shearing, which we can relate to these platy zones. So another interesting features are the pillow lavas, and generally we have two major outcrops of the pillow lavas, and it's nicely shown in the paper of Britt Lise. So, and also what interested me, and I think it was also discussed in her paper, that generally these two localities, they are at the same level of the volcano, about 150 meters above the sea level. So in their model, they suggested it's subglacial origin, that perhaps we have shoulders of the glacier at this level. We have eruptions, we have melting of ice, and then we have interaction of lavas with water. But also we cannot exclude influence of marine level there. Okay, it's 150 meters, but that's why I asked Sasha about the uplift rate. Should we exclude the interaction with seawater at that time? What was the rate of the uplift? What was the sea level? And again, depending on the age, if it's 1 million years ago, yeah, well, why not? Can we have the sea level at that location or not? If it's Holocene, yeah, it's quite tricky to get sea level at such high altitude. So that's we want to consider further on. I think we need to work with literature and with Sasha and Sergey to dynamic topography, exactly. I like this scientific word. Yeah. Erosion dynamic topography. So another also interesting feature. So at the preliminary version of this presentation, I tended to call it tough, but actually I was corrected by my older and more experienced colleague that, don't call it tough because it's too interpretational. So call it volcanogenic sediments. So maybe they're hyaloclastite, which is also kind of tough in my opinion, but anyways. So, so the main outcrop actually, and the main distribution of this tufaceous or volcanogenic material actually is within this gully. So, and we have a clear inclination and deep of these volcanogenic sediments from west to east. And remember that here we have also our pillar lava outcrops. So maybe it's related also to kind of hyaloclastite progradation or something like that. And we also have outcrop model of this particular locality, and I can measure beds and deeps of this, get some statistics, and we can also put it into the context of the magma emplacement environment here. So yeah, and again, this is bomb-shaped xenolite within this volcanogenic sediments. I think it's maybe this sample exactly. So, and also we have kind of glassy margin within the on the rim of the xenolite. And generally we have more or less the same features which are observed here, and also very nice stars or star-shaped features of clinopyroxene within the glassy material. So, and also coming to the very top of the Sverrefjellet, I expected more jokes about Sverre and Sverrefjellet today, but at least I'm the second one. That's good. Sverre was a bit afraid to hear it many times today. So yeah, here we go. Sverre is sitting on the top of Sverrefjellet. Don't mix up. Very Sverrefjellet, very Sverre. So, and on the very top we have also vesicular lava flows. So in this case, again, this is important to consider in terms of magma emplacement paleogeography, let's say, because maybe people who worked there before correct me, but again, above the 150 meters, we don't have pillow lavas generally. So we have just vesicular lava flows and tuffs. So, and then I want to refine the mapping which made Lisa, and then to put everything into the updated context. So to sum up what we have for now, this is well known that Sverrefjellet exhibits abundance of the mounted xenoliths. So we slightly updated the previous estimates. We think that in average it contains about 20% of the total volume of the xenoliths, locally up to 40–45%. So these large lava tubes or pillow lavas, which were interpreted by preceders, most likely they suggest subglacial origin. So because it's too high to be in contact with seawater, but we have to check it with the existing geophysical models. And what we want to focus on are these peculiar zones with plated tops and bottoms, and xenolithic boulders and nodules in between lava flows and dikes. And our working hypothesis that they could develop due to rapid magma cooling and subsequent free-thaw action rather than tectonic shearing. That's what we see from the micro scale. And yeah, we want to continue on this work and hopefully get some results. So we already submitted a poster to the upcoming EGU session. Hopefully by that we can get more results, which we can wrap up in nice publication. So, and yeah, just to repeat what we are going to do. So we would like to map out again in detail major volcanic elements, to continue detailed interpretation of digital outcrop models, quantify xenolithic shapes, fabrics, population distribution within lava flows and dikes. So, and integrate microscale and mesoscale observations interpretation into magma emplacement model based on thin section analysis, SEM, and maybe magnetic properties and mineralogy, because Agnes nicely showed that we can understand what was the processes after the emplacement of the, and I think we should consider this maybe to combine it and couple together our results. Yeah, thank you for your attention. Questions?
One question.
Yeah.
Just to display these zones, I mean, if anybody's seen this around in volcanic flows elsewhere in the world, it's something very rare. I see something that looks like it. There's like one place on Iceland, perhaps. But also, I've never seen any type of lava flows with this amount of heavy xenoliths in it. So is it any relationships there in some ways? If you suddenly have a...
I don't know. I don't know. You traveled so all the volcanic localities in the world. So.
In a way, how can you form this sort of very peculiar platy shale-like basalt? You know, it's like where at the same time you have these sort of almost like conglomeratic lava flows with very heavy xenoliths. We should have we done any, I mean, just do the density measurements. And,
yeah, we can. Okay. Yeah.
It's easy. So just on the basalts and the xenoliths would be just a nice number.
Do you have a hyaloclastite that develops in contact with seawater versus freshwater? Would you be able to tell the difference in the minerals that develop?
I'm not sure you can tell the difference. Yeah.
That would be a nice way. Because I think some of the interpretations from the pillow lavas were kind of anchored to a glacial lake that was dammed.
Yeah, I think maybe to differentiate between the subglacial and marine interaction or seawater interaction, you can. I think because there are different cooling processes can influence some of the features. Maybe or this plate zones, they're related to cooling. So maybe it's faster due to contact with glaciers or not. So we can discuss it, but we need to get some results first. And yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's just also for Agnes. So you say, Agnes, that this flakiness is a primary feature, but you didn't see any shear. Shearing. Exactly, no shearing. So yeah, maybe you answer it already.
What we observed in the field, and I think you can also look at some of the images there, the pictures. So you see that the xenolithic boulders, they're flattened within the plate zones. So they're somehow affected by these plate zones. So there should be some tectonic or influence on that. Yeah.
I don't believe that it's tectonic. I think it's purely cooling. So because of the rheological contrasts of the basalt and the xenoliths, and it's just a thermal jointing during the cooling.
Yeah, but also you have the xenoliths, and they're really flattened, within this part. What could be the reason? Just the pressure from the. That's what I don't understand really.
Sorry, we're a bit behind.
Yeah. Okay.
So
sorry.